And in this very moment when you are listening to these words, something ancient and powerful is already moving around you, even if your logical mind has not fully understood it yet. Because this is not a normal message, this is a divine alignment. Message sent to you at the exact second your soul was ready to hear it. You did not come here by accident, and you are not seeing this by coincidence. The universe does not waste timing, and God does not misplace souls. There is a reason you felt pulled. To this message, there is a reason your heart slowed down just a little as you began to listen, because deep inside, you have been asking for a sign, asking for clarity, asking for relief, asking for proof that your struggles were not meaningless, and that your silent endurance was being seen. And this is that confirmation. This is the answer you asked for in moments when no one else was listening. The divine wants you to know that the delays you faced were not denials. They were preparations. Every closed Idata was protection. Every unanswered prayer was redirection, and every tear you cried in silence was recorded in realms. You cannot yet see. You are entering a phase where things will begin to make sense backwards. Suddenly, you will realize why you had to lose certain people, why certain plans collapsed, why you were forced to rebuild from nothing. Because what is coming now requires a stronger version of you, a wiser version of you, a version that cannot be shaken by opinions, distractions, or fear. The universe is shifting circumstances in your favor. Even if on the surface things look calm or uncertain, do not underestimate silent movement. Seeds grow underground before they break the surface. And right now, your breakthrough is growing beneath what? You can see divine forces are rearranging timelines, removing hidden obstacles, and aligning opportunities that will meet you at the perfect moment. Not too early, not too late. Exactly when you are ready to receive without sabotaging yourself. This is why you were tested emotionally. This is why you felt lonely, even surrounded by people. This is why you were pushed into self-reflection, because elevation requires separation and clarity, requires stillness. You were being trained to trust yourself, to trust divine timing, and to stop seeking validation from places that were never meant to support your destiny. And hear this clearly. What tried to break you did not succeed. What tried to delay you only strengthened you. What tried to confuse you ended up sharpening your intuition. You are far more powerful now than you realize, and the spiritual authority you carry is activating slowly but surely, which is why certain energies have been reacting to you lately, which is why jealousy, resistance, or unexplained tension may have increased around you. Light always disturbs darkness when it begins to rise, but you are protected. You are guided, and you are surrounded by forces that operate beyond human logic. Nothing meant for you will miss you, and nothing not meant for you can stay. The next chapter of your life will reward your patience, your discipline, and your faith in ways that will feel unreal. At first, finances will stabilize, clarity will increase, doors will open without force, and peace will return to your mind, not because life becomes perfect, but because you become anchored, grounded, and aligned with your true path. Trust what is unfolding even if you cannot explain it. Yet, trust the inner pull guiding you forward. Trust the calm voice within that tells you to keep going a little longer because something meaningful is very close. This message itself is proof that you are being watched over, that you are being guided, and that you are not alone on this journey. Stay open, stay grateful, stay focused, and do not rush the process. The universe is precise, and what is being prepared for you requires precision. You are stepping into divine favor, whether you feel ready or not, and everything from this point forward will slowly start aligning in your favor. And as this divine flow continues, understand that what you are experiencing right now is a quiet transformation that does not announce itself loudly, but reshapes your entire inner world piece by piece. You may not wake up one morning suddenly feeling different yet. When you look back weeks or months from now, you will realize you no longer react the same way. You no longer beg for understanding. You no longer chase what once drained you, because something within you has matured and stabilized. This is spiritual growth happening in real time, and it is happening because you chose to keep going, even when motivation faded, even when hope felt distant, even when answers did not arrive on schedule. The divine saw your consistency, not just in action, but in intention. You kept believing silently. You kept showing up even while doubting yourself, and that balance between doubt and persistence is what forged your strength. Now hear this very carefully. A shift in identity is occurring. You are no longer meant to survive, you are meant to lead. You are no longer meant to wait. You are meant to decide. And this is why situations have been pushing you to take responsibility for your life instead of blaming circumstances or people. Power is returning to you, slowly, intentionally. Because power given too early can be misused, but power earned through endurance becomes wisdom. The universe is restoring your confidence not through empty motivation, but through lived proof. Step by step, you will notice your words carrying more weight, your presence commanding more respect, your silence becoming more powerful than arguments because alignment speaks without noise. And this is also why certain people will drift away without conflict. They cannot access the version of you that is emerging. And the divine is removing anything that cannot grow with you. Do not chase explanations. Do not force closures. Everything that leaves now is making space for something better suited to your future. You are being upgraded emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And upgrades always require a temporary pause while systems recalibrate if you have felt tired lately, if your body has demanded rest, if your mind has asked for stillness. Honor that this is integration, not weakness, and very soon energy will return, clearer, stronger, and more focused than before. Opportunities will appear in ways that feel natural, conversations will open doors without pressure, and ideas will flow with ease because resistance is dissolving. You are aligning with effortlessness, which is the true sign of divine support. And remember, this abundance is not only money, abundance is peace. Abundance is choice, abundance is freedom from fear and scarcity, and all forms of abundance are moving toward you now because you have learned to value yourself without external approval. The divine does not reward desperation, it rewards readiness, and you are becoming ready, even if part of you still feels unsure. Trust that uncertainty does not cancel destiny, it only humbles it. Keep your heart open, but your boundaries strong. Keep believing, but stay grounded. Keep moving forward without needing to prove anything to anyone, because the universe already recognizes you. The protection around you is increasing, the guidance within you is sharpening, and the timing ahead of you is exact. You're closer than you think. And what you have been asking for is already on its way, just unfolding in a form that will last. And now let this message take a different turn as the divine speaks to you in a softer yet deeper frequency. One that does not rush you or pressure you, but gently reminds you of who you truly are beneath the noise of expectations and past disappointments. You are not behind, you are not late, and you are not failing. You are unfolding exactly as intended, and the moments you thought were pauses were actually moments of recalibration, when your soul was catching up with the destiny meant to. Hold it, you have carried weight that was never meant to be permanent responsibilities, emotions, memories, and fears that shaped you but did not define you. And now the divine is inviting you to release what no longer belongs to the version of you that is emerging. This is a season of inner authority where you stop asking for permission to live your truth and start honoring your instincts without apology. The guidance you seek externally has already been whispered internally multiple times. You felt it as hesitation before wrong choices, you felt it as peace before right ones, and you felt it as discomfort when you stayed too long, where your spirit had already outgrown the space. This is not rebellion, this is alignment, and alignment will always ask you to be honest even when honesty feels uncomfortable. The universe is not testing you to see if you are strong enough. It is responding to see if you are honest enough. Honest about what drains you, honest about what fulfills you, honest about what you are ready to release so that what is meant for you can finally arrive fully. There are doors preparing to open that require courage, not effort, connections forming, that require authenticity, not performance, and paths revealing themselves that require trust, not control. And the more you try to force outcomes, the more resistance you will feel. But the moment you surrender the need to micromanage life, everything begins to cooperate in unexpected ways. The divine works through flow, not force. And you're learning that now your intuition will grow louder, your discernment sharper, and your tolerance for chaos lower, because peace is becoming your priority, not as an escape, but as a foundation from which you build everything else. Do not be surprised if your desires shift, if what once excited you now feels empty, and what once felt impossible now feels inevitable. This is evolution, and it is happening because you chose growth over comfort, truth over illusion, and faith over fear. The future ahead of you is not a repetition of the past, it is a refinement of lessons learned and strengths earned. And before you scroll away, before your mind tells you this is just another message, pause for one moment. because something unseen but intentional guided you here at this exact second, and that alone already separates this moment from everything else you have watched today. This is not random content. This is a divine interruption meant to reach you while your guard is down and your soul is listening more than your thoughts ever could. There is a reason your attention slowed down, a reason your breath subtly changed as these words began. Because deep within you have been waiting not for motivation, not for noise, but for truth. A truth that speaks quietly yet lands deeply. And the truth is this: your life is not stuck. It is aligning. Your journey is not delayed, it is being refined, and you're not lost. You are in the middle of a transformation that cannot be rushed without losing its power. The divine does not operate on urgency, it operates on precision. And you are currently standing in a precise moment where endings and beginnings overlap, even if you cannot yet label them. You have survived seasons that should have broken you. Moments where you questioned your worth, your direction, and your faith. Moments where silence felt louder than answers, and effort felt heavier than reward. Yet you stayed, you endured, you adapted, and that endurance activated something within you that can no longer settle for half-lived truths or borrowed dreams. The old version of you operated from survival. The emerging version of you is learning to operate from alignment, and this shift changes everything. Because when alignment begins, force becomes unnecessary. Doors open through conversation. Instead of struggle, clarity replaces confusion, and peace becomes your default instead of chaos. And do not mistake peace for weakness. Peace is power under control. It is confidence without noise, and it is authority without aggression. And this is why lately you may have felt disconnected from environments, people, or habits that once felt familiar. Your soul is recalibrating its standards. What once felt acceptable now feels heavy. What once felt exciting now feels empty. And this is not loss, this is elevation. The divine is quietly editing your life, removing what cannot support the future you are stepping into. And what feels like isolation right now is actually protection, because not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next chapter. Some were only meant to teach you, some were only meant to prepare. You and some were only meant to show you what you no longer want. And the universe is never cruel when it removes. It is strategic, and hear this clearly. Nothing meaningful is being taken away without something greater being prepared in its place. You are entering a phase where your inner voice becomes louder than outside opinions, where your decisions come from clarity, not fear, and where your value is no longer negotiated. This is why challenges tested your patience. This is why disappointments sharpened your discernment. This is why delays forced you inward, because self-trust is built in silence, not applause. And as this trust grows, you will notice life responding differently. Opportunities will come without chasing. Respect will appear without demanding, and abundance will flow in forms that feel stable, not overwhelming, because the divine does not bless recklessness. It blesses readiness, and readiness is exactly what is forming within you. Now, even if part of you still doubts it, this message is not here to excite you temporarily. It is here to remind you permanently that you are supported, guided, and protected beyond what you can logically measure. The unseen has been working overtime on your behalf, rearranging outcomes, softening resistance, and aligning paths that meet you where growth and peace intersect. You are closer than you think. And what you have been quietly preparing for is already moving toward you. This is only the beginning of what is about to unfold. Already unfolding behind the scenes, even if your conscious mind is still catching up to the signs, because transformation rarely announces itself. It works quietly, reshaping beliefs, releasing old emotional contracts, and rebuilding your inner. Foundations stronger than before. You are not meant to repeat the past, you are meant to resolve it. And resolution does not come through struggle, it comes through understanding. This is why you have been revisiting old thoughts, memories, or feelings. Lately, not to pull you backward, but to finally release what was never processed when you were busy surviving. The divine is cleaning your inner space so that what arrives next does not have to fight old wounds for room. And as this clearing happens, you may feel moments of emotional heaviness followed by sudden clarity. Moments where you feel tired without reason, followed by bursts of motivation that feel pure and grounded. This is alignment in motion, and alignment often feels uncomfortable before it feels empowering, because it asks you to let go of identities you once needed but no longer require. You are learning that strength is not constant effort, it is intelligent rest. That power is not control, it is trust. And that faith is not blind belief. It is calm certainty even when outcomes are still forming. You are being guided to slow down, not because you are falling behind, but because what is coming deserves your full presence. Rushed energy cannot hold divine results, and the universe would rather delay you than deliver something prematurely that could collapse under pressure. This is protection disguised as patience, and patience is being cultivated in you. Now, not as passive waiting, but as active preparation you are. Becoming more selective with your energy, more intentional with your words, and more aware of what truly matters. And this awareness will save you years of unnecessary struggle in the future, because you are learning to move with purpose instead of impulse, with clarity instead of reaction, and with confidence instead of comparison. The world may reward noise, but the divine rewards alignment, and alignment is what you are stepping into, quietly, steadily, and permanently. This is why external validation feels less important lately, why you no longer feel the need to explain yourself, why peace feels more attractive than proving a point. You're no longer interested in winning arguments. You are interested in winning your time, your focus, and your future. And this shift alone changes your entire trajectory. Because when you stop leaking energy into places that cannot return, its abundance naturally begins to flow toward you. Abundance of ideas, abundance of opportunities, abundance of stability, and abundance of inner calm. And do not misunderstand abundance. It is not sudden chaos. It is sustained ease. It is waking up without dread. It is making decisions without fear. It is trusting yourself enough to say no without guilt, and yes without hesitation. And this level of self-trust only forms through experience, through disappointment, through resilience, and through divine guidance that never left you. Even when you felt disconnected, the divine does not abandon it, redirects, and every redirection you experienced was moving you closer to your true alignment, even when it felt like loss at the time. And soon you will recognize the wisdom in what did not work, the blessing in what fell apart, and the mercy in what never materialized. Because it protected you from settling into a life that would have slowly drained your spirit. You are meant for something that feels expansive, not restrictive, something that grows with you, not confines you. And this realization will bring relief, not anxiety, because deep down, you have always known you were meant for more, not more possessions, not more attention, but more meaning, more freedom, and more peace. And that is exactly what is being prepared for you. Now, even if the timeline remains unclear, trust that clarity will arrive exactly when you need it, not a moment earlier, not a moment later. And when it does, you will move confidently without second guessing, because the foundation has already been built within you. This is not luck. This is alignment. This is not coincidence. This is divine orchestration, and you are exactly where you need to be to receive what is next, shaping your awareness in ways that cannot be explained logically. Because what is happening now is less about changing your outer circumstances and more about recalibrating your inner compass so that every future decision feels cleaner, lighter, and more intentional. You are no longer operating from fear of loss or hunger for approval. You are learning to operate from clarity and self-respect, and this shift alone alters how the world responds to you. Notice how situations that once drained you now resolve faster or no longer hold the same emotional charge. Notice how you are becoming less reactive and more observant, less desperate for outcomes and more confident in direction. This is not emotional distance. This is emotional mastery, and mastery allows you to move through life without being pulled apart by every opinion, delay, or challenge. The divine has been training you through contrast, showing you what alignment feels like by first letting you experience misalignment. And now your system recognizes the difference instantly, which is why your tolerance for chaos has dropped. Your patience for inconsistency has thinned, and your desire for authenticity has intensified. You are no longer interested in convincing anyone of your worth, because you have finally accepted it yourself, and self-acceptance is magnetic. It attracts respect, opportunities, and peace without effort. This is why things are beginning to respond to you differently, not because you changed who you are, but because you start betraying yourself to fit into spaces that were never designed for your growth. You are stepping into a frequency where honesty replaces performance and intention replaces urgency. And at this level, timing matters more than speed. You may feel moments.